Hello one and all. This is my review, reaction, and content discussion of that time at Reincarnated Slime Season 3, Episode 18. And last we left off, 2 weeks ago, we got to meet the legendary hero, Masayuki! Oh, I love that man, even though he is a complete and total fraud. I mean, kinda. He actually has done most of the things people say, oh, he did that. Just the stories are wildly exaggerated, and literally everything he does is the result of his skill, just making him the luckiest goddamn man in the world. Oh, that was amazing, and hopefully we see more of him this episode. Though we're gonna start off with, actually meeting the delegates, the human guests, the various nobles and royals who want to have a conversation with Rimuru before this festival starts. I'm very excited for that, so let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Episode 66, The Flood of Visitors. There have been 66 episodes of this show. That's a lot. That is insane. So it gets over, what, like 6 or 7 years? There's a long time off between seasons. Oh, wow. Okay, that's a lot of nobles right there. Yeah, no wonder, Rimuru. What the freak? Genuinely, what the freak? How did this many people get an invite to see Rimuru? I mean, I know he's trying to be like hospitable and open and all that, but seriously, at this point, that's not even like, oh, kings and queens. That's like dukes and viscounts and everyone in between. What the freak, man? Seriously, limit yourself a little bit more. Set the higher bar for actually talking to people, for God's sake. So this man right here, obviously a very high priority for Rimuru, as, the King of Blumend has been really good to Rimuru, basically saying that he was willing to go to war against the Western nations if it meant backing Rimuru. He's literally bet his entire kingdom on Rimuru's success. I mean, he sent Fuse and a bunch of other A-rank or high-rank adventurers to Tempest when they thought they were being invaded by Falmus, and then when it came to dealing with, taking over Falmus, he's like, hey, by the way, I've got some spies in that country, some nobles who secretly work for me, so I can make this happen for you. He's a good friend. He's a very good friend to Rimuru, and Rimuru is going to make sure this man gets, paid for that. As always, looks like a character straight from a children's picture book. I mean, the man does look ridiculous. This whole, curly hair and puff in front of him. Wait, yeah, that actually is kind of how I look with my hat on. Interesting. Is he wearing a hat? Okay, so yeah, he looks like a character from a children's book. He's big, he's exaggerated, it's hilarious. Whereas his wife, the Queen, is considered one of the most beautiful women in all of Blumend. But despite that, these two actually have a famously good marriage and are deeply in love. The light novel very much emphasizes that. Also, I just find it interesting that, when it comes to, greeting monsters, Rimuru was like, I am a slime. Whereas it came to greeting, human visitors, he's like, hey, I'm a human. In fact, I think he even said, I'd be more comfortable as a slime, but my retainers all insisted I'd be a human for these meetings. Which I guess makes a certain amount of sense, but still interesting. He even sounds like a cartoon character. Ho, please don't mind it. Yeah, so while he may look childish, he's actually a very good king. And he's basically saying, hey, I bet my entire kingdom for you, so you better make it worth it. Okay, Oh God, I love this man. A little spoiler won't hurt. Oh, he's fun. He's a lot of fun.
じゃあ少しだけ。ブルムンド王国には今後流通の中心地となってほしくて。
Yeah, so basically, I mean, Tempest connects to the Dwarven Kingdom, Maline's whole nation, with all their benefits. I mean, Carrion is large quantities of food that they can export. The Elf Nation, all of that flows through Tempest, and then, combine that with all of Tempest works, that flows from Tempest to Blumend, meaning that if anybody in the entire West wants anything, the closest place they can go is Blumend, which is going to make, their tiny little nation one of the richest and most prosperous places in the entire freaking world. I mean, we already saw that with Hinata. When she went there, she's like, what's going on here? I've been to Blumend before, and it's usually pretty depressing here in the winter, but everyone's smiling, there's happy, there's carts and stalls open. What's going on? They're gonna get even richer than that. Oh, and he finally opened his eyes at shock at how grand this plan is.
なるほど、それはそれは。
陛下、この話は是が非でも万難を排して実現させ。
Yeah, I mean, like, she's being, like, calm. You can, like, hear the excitement in her voice. She is literally burning with passion. That's what how Light Novel describes it.
なりませんわね。
さっきの言う通りじゃ。
Alright, so two interesting things about that conversation with the King of Blumend. First off, he and his wife, when the conversation was over, they got up and they left. So many other nobles, they go in these, like, long rants and they just, keep the conversation going just because, that's the polite thing to do. But Rimmer's like, okay, these guys are direct, they said what they wanted, they got out, I love that about them. And secondly, the reason why the King of Blumend was so concerned about the treaty still being intact was because of Viscount Kazakh. Remember that dude? He tried to sell Molly on a business that employed elf slave girls, and then, tried to murder Molly at least like a dozen different times. Anyway, though, once it was found out that he had connections to the Ortho Slave Company, he was arrested and then stripped of his title and exiled from the land. And, King of Blumend is like, okay, this dude, this noble of my nation, he tried to he tried to attack someone who was, really, really close to Rimuru, and that could really tick him off. Is Rimuru going to be okay with this? Is he going to be okay with keeping the treaty going? Is he going to wish that there was, worse things done to him other than just being stripped of his title and exiled? I mean, I think there should be, but at the same time, seriously, imagine taking a noble, someone who's been a noble their entire life, removing their title, removing their money, removing everything that makes them a noble, and kicking them out of their nation. What exactly are they going to do? How exactly are they going to live their life after that? I mean, imagine, like, you take Jeff Bezos, you take his billions, you take his money, you take his title, you take his recognition, and you just kick him out of, his country and put him in another country where nobody knows him. That's not going to be a good life for him. That's going to be rough. That's going to be really, really rough. Alright, though, next off, Gazelle. Yeah, Rimmer actually comments this dude has a serious sweet tooth and eats all of the snacks before Rimuru can, even the donut that Rimuru was saving for later. Yeah, so, normally when it comes to Tempest, it's like, hey, I'm going to fly on my Unicorn Brigade or Pegasus Brigade, whatever it is. But he can't really do that. I mean, first off, because it is actually a state secret that he has such a super powerful fighting force, but also because, he needs bunch of people to get him dressed in all his fancy clothes. Royals are expected to change their outfit multiple times a day. He needs retainers, he needs this, he needs that. It's just so much. So we end up taking so many carriages that he actually caused a traffic jam. Oh, I love that. Yeah, this is Rimuru's next big plan, develop trains. In fact, even set up the highways, there's always like a spot where they could just put in trains if they ever get that technology off the ground. I mean, I don't think they've actually made any headway on that technology at all right now, but it's something Rimuru wants to work on eventually.
ところでリムルよ、ヒナタと戦ったようだな。世間では引き分けと言われているが、本当は勝ったのであろう。
Yeah, I think most people actually on top realize there's no way that this fight would have ended in a draw. If it was a draw, then, Hinata would have killed him. The Paladins would have killed him. The fact that, the Crusaders are willing to make so many sacrifices, so many like, oh no, monsters aren't all bad, means that he must have beat her badly, and she had no choice but to, make those concessions.
あ
God, I
れ
can't talk
バレて
today.
る？
で、今度は何を考えておるのだ？
Yeah, I mean, that was a big thing. Well, the church as a whole wasn't really antagonistic to the dwarves and the elves. They did kind of consider them, almost to be the equivalent of monsters, and didn't really like them. And there were certainly some, super, super religious fanatics who were like, no, they are monsters. We should kill them all.
正教会が突然のこの変わりよ。どうせ貴様の企みであ
I
ろう
mean, it
が。
absolutely was his doing. Also helps, they've gotten rid of the 7-day clergy who were the real hardliners in the church. So now they can, really make some absolute changes, make the church more accepting, make the church more kind, make the church more open for everyone.
ああ、そうそう。ドワルゴンも巻き込んで100年の遊戯を
Rimuru
結
just
べば。
fully and absolutely forgot that he mentioned that. Oh yeah, I involved you in a treaty, 100-year-long treaty, and I just forgot to tell you.
いいって、日向たちに提案したんだった。
Just Shion and Diablo like, yeah, that's exactly what Rimuru would do. Oh, they're beautiful.
聞いておらんぞ。
I mean, in his defense, he has been really, really busy since that fight. I love that Gazelle is still lecturing him, seriously. Rimuru is a freaking demon lord, and quite possibly, quite literally, stronger than he is now, and yet he's still lecturing him. Though I do really believe it comes from a place of love, because he's like, yeah, Rimuru is my junior, even if he's stronger than me, he's still my junior apprentice, and it's my duty to make sure he stays on the right track, and doesn't make any more mistakes, doesn't take off more people down the road.
そうであったか。人間至上主義だったのは七王の老子どもであったか。
Yeah, Rimuru was saving that last donut for himself. Seriously, there was an entire plate of sweets here before that lecture started, and now it's fully empty. God, that's a lot of snacking.
だから日向たちは。
昔、勝手な真似ばかりしおってからに。おい
I
おい。
love the fact that Shion and Diablo were just sitting there listening to Rimuru get an hour-long lecture, and they never once got mad. I mean, Diablo, I think, normally would be like, you are disrespecting my master! But even he can be like, okay, no, this is coming from love, this is coming from a good place, this is really him just trying to help.
せっかくの祭り時に野暮な話は控えるとするか。
旦那、久しぶり。
Hey, it's King Yom! God, I love this man.
約束通り、俺も王になったぜ。
孫にも衣装だね、ヨウムくん。これからもよろしく頼むよ。
それはこっちのセリフだぜ。
I love Yom. Like, he becomes the freaking king of a fairly large nation. It does not change him at all. He is still the rough guy he always was.
俺みたいな男を王に担ぎ出したのは
Yeah,
旦那なんだ。
seriously, let's not forget that, when Rimuru first met this dude, he was literally sent on a suicide mission. After being arrested for some crimes, I can't remember what they were, he was in jail and then, let out just to go on a suicide mission to figure out what's going on with the orc disaster. Rimuru turned him from a hero and then turned him from a champion, not a hero. Rimuru turned him into a champion and then from a champion into a freaking king.
最後まできちんと面倒を見てくれよ。
長い歴史を。
Okay, someone else should be here right now.
ファルムス王国は滅びた。
ファルメナス王ヨウムの妻ミューファルメナス
And now she is the freaking queen. Seriously, she was a slave to Clayman like less than a year ago, and now she's the freaking queen.
だろう？俺と違って
Oh, Yom is so proud of his wife.
教養があるからな。
クレイマンは礼儀作法にもうるさい男でしたので
Okay, so apparently her time being a slave was actually a good thing since it taught her etiquette. Yay, I suppose? Yeah, this is definitely kind of weird. It's like, yeah, I am still technically a soldier from another country, but I'm also the head of the military of this country. That is so weird.
つもりなんですがね。まあ、当分の間はこのバカの面倒を見るつもりですよ。
もうヨウム陛下も
Oh,
グレイ
hey,
シス団長
he's here! Awesome! I thought they were just gonna cut him out. This is the son of the former king.
魔王リムル様に失礼ですよ。
どう
Yeah, Yome's attendant. Dude, you were a prince just a few weeks ago, and now you're an attendant. God, that's sad. Though I do love this kid. He's 10 years old, and he's just so refined, so polished. Like, seriously, how was, his father, the last king, his father? He is so much better than him.
君がエドガー君か。あのエドマリス王の息子なんだって。
はい。元王ですけど。
大変。
Like, this dude was supposed to be a prince, and now he's fully and completely focused on making Yom a good king. He's, I don't want to be king. I'm fully fine just being an attendant and helping this dude who, kind of usurped my father. I love how just little ego he has in all of this. It's amazing. Again, Edmurus was like the most proud, arrogant man imaginable until Rimuru broke his pride. And yet his son is just so charming and polite. It's amazing.
さて、約束を守ってくれたヨウム君に俺からプレゼントだ。
Yeah, don't give it to Yom. He is still functionally illiterate. Give it to the 10-year-old instead. Yeah, that's a big deal. That is a really, really big deal. In case you forgot, that was 10,000 stellar coins, of which Farminus, whatever, paid about 1,500. So there were still 8,500 coins left, which I think was the equivalent of about $8.5 billion. Rimuru just, forgave a debt of 8.5 billion US dollars. That is such an insane amount. It is such an insane amount, they're not really even sure if that much exists in the entire economy. Like, oh god, I love the expressions. Mura, Grucius. They're losing their goddamn minds.
それはもう不要だよ。実際、正金貨1500枚は受け取っているしね。
待ってください。それはつまり、ヨウム陛下が魔王から賠償金。
Yes, exactly. What matters more to Rimuru right now, more than money, is actually having an ally he can trust. And, this king, this Yom guy right here, can go back to his nation and tell all of his people, hey, I just made us $8.5 billion by negotiating with a demon lord. That's gonna be a big deal. That is gonna be a really, really big deal, and it's gonna vastly improve how much trust they have in him. Yeah, for the record, Yom is just like, he doesn't really get it. Everyone else is freaking out, but Yom's like, okay, I guess this is a big deal, I suppose.
さらに名声が高まるな、ヨウム君。
俺にはよくわからねえが。
Yeah, I don't quite get it, seriously.
旦那がそう言うんなら、まあそうなんだろうよ。それじゃ、また後で一杯やろう
Yeah,
ぜ。
just the most casual man in the world. I'm carrying around a forgiveness of $8.5 billion, and let's go get a drink sometime.
行くぞみんな。
Yeah, he's broken. His brain is literally broken. Also, I do love Miura as kind of his adoptive mother. That's really sweet. I love those people. Seriously, I know there's a lot of spin-offs of this series. I'd read a spin-off just of that family and just the madness happening in Falminus. God dang it, I don't know how to actually pronounce it anymore.
時間ができたので、俺はイングラシアにやってきた。
やあ、リムルさん久しぶり。大変だったみたいですね。
Oh, they actually skipped an interesting scene. I guess makes sense. When Rimuru first entered the Free Guild, there's like an automatic door that only opens if you're a rank B adventurer or higher. And when he went in there, everyone's like giving him a rough time, like, oh, you're some big shot from some small little town. You think you're all that just because you're B rank. And that's like their job as adventurers, to make sure the people who come to Angracia don't get a huge head just because they're the strongest person in their city, town, village, whatever. And this also, that actually goes back to something, because a lot was cut out of Season 1. I know we've seen most of it in Season 2 and whatnot, but like Rimuru had a whole adventure as an adventurer in Season 1 when he was first going to Angracia, and that stuff I don't think we've actually seen yet.
大変なんてもんじゃないよ。日向に襲われるわ。
I mean, you got attacked by Hinata because of Yuki. You got invaded by Falmouth because of Yuki.
の軍勢が攻めてくるわ。 果ては魔王たち
Technically, yeah, the Demon Lord summoning you was also because of Yuki, though Clayman was mainly going a bit rogue in that moment.
から呼び出されるわ。
それで済むのがリムルさんらしいですね。
Yeah, really, still not all that is enough to take you down. I tried all of that, and I still couldn't take you down, is basically what Yuki is saying.
ひなたとも和解できたし、結果オーライだな。
ことか。
Yeah, honestly, Hinata's instincts are so good, I wouldn't be surprised if in this moment she did actually thank Hey. Rimuru and Yuki are bad-mouthing Mei.
行くに決まってますよ。
Yeah, he's all packed. He's excited. I mean, this is legitimately the most advanced place in the entire West. Of course he's not gonna miss it.
そのために必死こいて仕事を片付けたんでね。それ、
Oh, the slime clap. That's adorable.
僕にも紹介しますよ。自由組合のサブマスターを
Oh, Kaguli. You are so suspicious.
任せているかがりです。遺
Yeah,
跡から
she's basically an archaeologist, and it's something she actually deeply loves and cares about.
こちらからもお願いするよ。
ぜひとも引き受けたいと思いますわ。
This is such a weird scene because it's like, yeah, this person is obviously working with Yuki, who's obviously one of the bad guys. And yet they're just so genuinely excited to be part of this excavation. It's fun for them. Also, important to note, Rimuru said, oh, I'm in charge of managing Clayman's domain, but that's a freaking lie right there. He absolutely is not. Malim is in charge of that domain. In fact, Rimuru very specifically didn't want that territory because it's right on the edge of the Eastern Empire, and he didn't want to spend all that time guarding the border, making sure the Empire didn't start invading again. It's just too much for him, so he just, dumped it on Malim to do. In fact, he even said, oh, we're gonna need Malim's permission to do this, and she might even want to come along.
ひなたとも和解したから、俺たちに敵対している勢力はないしね。
Honestly, I think it'd be really hilarious if when Hinata came to attack Tempest, Rimuru was just hanging out with all the kids, like, hi, Hinata, what's up? These are all my children! I think that right there probably could have stopped all the fighting, and she'd be like, okay, yeah, so you're clearly not a bad guy, and I feel really bad about all of this. You want to just make up? Yeah, I couldn't even finish his sentence before she hugged him. I mean, it has been quite a while. I think a couple months, maybe a year. I mean, let's not forget that since, Rimuru last saw them, he had to deal with the invasion, Hinata, Falmus, there was a 2-month break there, a 3-month break there, so at least like 6 months have passed since he last visited.
先生。おかえりなさい。
Aw, Chloe, you are always so freaking adorable.
先
I think in the light novel, it was more of them jumping on him than just like casually walking up to him.
最近は精霊の力をうまく扱える
Oh,
よう
Chloe gets a head pat. Good for
になってきま
her.
したし。
生。どういうこと？
君たち5人を俺の国に招待しようと思ってね。明日からお祭りな。
No warning whatsoever. Just, hey, we're holding a big party tomorrow. You wanna come?
だよ。別に行きたくないって言うなら。急げ、すぐに準備するぞ。
わかったよ、ケンちゃん。
そういう大事なことはもっと早く。
Yeah, the reason why I couldn't actually tell them ahead of time was because he wanted to make sure it was safe. He wanted to make sure all his, T's were crossed, I's were dotted, to make sure that there was no reason why he might need to, uninvite them because of some unforeseen issue. And, because if that happened, he would absolutely end up breaking their hearts, and they would never forgive him.
そうですよリムル先生。突然来てそんなことを言い出すなんて。
私は楽しみ。
Oh, God, she is so adorable.
持っていくのは着替えだけでいいぞ。
お久しぶりです、リムル先生。
お、ティス先生。
Yeah, interesting. Tease is an anime original character. We actually saw her in, I think, the OVAs too. There's some OVAs, like, there was a whole thing I remember where, they went on a mission with her to explore some cave or whatever. She got knocked out. It was a whole crazy thing. In the light novel, it was just some former adventure A- rank hunter person who I don't even think actually had a name. I mean, that's a bit of a misunderstanding of the core problem here. There's still a lot the teacher in light novel said they can teach them about being adventure, hunting, all that stuff. The bigger issue is the fact that unless they start, going really seriously, they can't keep up with the kids in terms of combat, and therefore, if they just keep going, if they keep, sparring against them, eventually the kids will plateau and think, hey, I'm as strong as I can be because I beat the teacher. And that's not what they want. They want to let these kids grow stronger and stronger and stronger and unlock their full potential. In fact, it's even said that Ken has the potential to grow up and be a hero someday.
生徒思いのティス先生にしかできないと思うよ。
Yeah, that's another thing, another big thing, in Tempest, they do actually have schools, they're starting up and all that, but it's schools full of monsters, and that doesn't really give them, the technique, the ability to actually interact with other people, which is something they can only get in this school.
リムル先生。
お待たせしました。あれ？ティス先生、荷物は？
え？ティス先生も一緒に行こうよ。
Okay, this is definitely not in the light novel right here.
そうだぜ。いいよな、リムル先生。だってさ。
In fact, in the light novel, Rimuru actually has to find them a babysitter, so curious. Though I guess it does make sense. She was in the opening. I was actually just looking at the opening when I was starting this episode, hey, why is she there in Tempest with everybody else? That doesn't make any sense, but yeah, she gets to come along. Good for her.
ティス先生。荷物取ってきますね。
Oh, she's so happy the students care that much about her. That's so sweet. And Rimuru just teleported them right to Tempest. God, I love that. Also love Tease, hey, this is better than Ingracia, which is, as far as I know, the greatest nation in the world. What exactly is going on right here? Also, they mention, in light novel, the kids are like, hey, Rimuru, if you can teleport, why exactly did you wait 6 months to come see us? And Rimuru doesn't want to say, well, you see, I was fighting for my life, so he just kind of ignores the question and moves on. Also, it's clarified that this is one of their nicer hot spas, springs, hotels, all that, but not for their visiting guests, nobles, whatever. This is more for the people of Tempest. It's more private, it's more out of the way, where the kids won't cause any problems.
これを使ってゲームをしようと思うんだが。
That's a really cool pendant. And the light novel just says, oh, here's a silver pendant, but that is so cool. That's the symbol of Tempest emblazoned on it. I love that.
これはね、明日からのお祭りで出される露店のフリーパスチケットになっている。これをも
Oh god, the blush, the wonder. Yeah, this lets you eat all the food and drinks and everything you could ever want. This basically is a free pass to go nuts in this festival.
これを持っているだけで、ただし、金額の上限は銀貨。
100 gold coins. Holy mother of God above. Yeah, light novel, it's 100 silver coins. And even then, Rimuru's yeah, that's a lot. There's no way they're gonna spend all of that. But 100 gold coins. I'm pretty sure they could buy a mansion with that amount of money.
悪米分だ。
Yeah, so basically this is basically saying, here is all the money you could ever want for the next year of your life. Just don't blow it all in the next 3 days.
これを使い切ってしまったらゲームオーバー。その時点で部屋に戻り、罰としての宿題が待っている。どうだ？やるか？
Yeah, not even a game. There's literally no way they can actually blow through all that money.
珍しいものがたくさんありそうだし、楽しみだね、ケンちゃん。
楽しみだぜ。先生ありがとうございます。
先生にも何か。
We'll buy you some presents. That's so sweet.
ちなみに露店の出し物は銀貨1枚もしないもの。
This is weird. Is there a mistranslation here? Because it was definitely in the light novel. It said 100 silver coins, and that most of the stalls sell things for less than 1 silver coin. I mean, selling things for 1 gold coin, that feels excessive. That feels very, very excessive. A gold coin is worth a lot of money. I don't remember the exact conversion rate, but it's a lot. Okay, yeah, God above. I had to look it up. I looked it up on the wiki, and a gold coin is $1,000. What the absolute freak? $1,000. Whereas a silver coin is about $10. So, Yeah, I definitely think there was some sort of mistranslation here. I definitely think it was supposed to be 100 silver coins, not 100 gold coins. Since giving them a budget of 100 gold coins would be giving them a budget of $100,000. That's insane. That is so absolutely freaking insane.
M とは名ばかりで単なる口実だ。
リムル様、勇者正幸一行が
Oh
町のスタン
yeah,
到着
the legendary hero Masayuki is here. This is gonna be fun.
来たか。
正幸くんどうします？この場で
Yeah, so they're just deciding to antagonize a demon lord right away, literally as soon as they walk into his domain.
決しますか？
Fun!
好き放題に言われちゃったよ、おい。いやいや、敵。
Yeah, seriously, bringing Shion here, bad idea. Very, very bad
いい
idea.
ね、勇者のご一行は。
聖人ひなたはうまく騙せたか
Yeah,
もしれ
the
ません。
merchants are very confused by all of this. I mean, let's not also forget, Masayuki's got the whole heroic aura thing, so everything he does is viewed like super heroic, so they genuinely think that, he's a hero come to slay the evil demon lord, which is, not great for Rimuru's image right now.
正幸くん同じように考えてもらっては困ります。
俺を悪者に仕立て上げたいのかな。
Yeah, Masayuki is just trying to talk so badly, but they're not letting him.
さっさとあの魔王を倒してこの地に平和を。
何をやっているんだい？
Yeah, let's
君
bring
たち。
peace to this, forest of Jura, which was at one point a wild, wild wasteland before Rimuru showed up and, ruined all that peace of the wild wasteland.
結城さん、その証拠に君たちはまだ生きているじゃないか。
Yeah, really.
ど
Rimuru could have killed them all very
と
easily.
いう意味ですか。その説明では、正幸くんが聖人ひなた
Yes, 150%.
弱いと聞こえますけど。
次は真打ちの登場だろうよ。
落ち
Yeah,
着け。
even Yuki is stunned by all this, like, okay, I know I'm evil. I know I have all these machinations and plans going on in the background. I don't know how to handle this. I legitimately don't know how to handle this. And I have no idea what's going to happen if these two actually end up fighting.
何度も言うけどリムルさんは僕たちと敵対していない。
いつ悪事を働く。
God, these poor elves, they're like, hey, so, we were sold into slavery and now we're coming back. And the guy who saved us is, at war with a guy who now runs our country. What's going on? What do we do?
分かったもんじゃねえや。
それじゃあ提案がある。
Yeah, I mean, Rimuru clearly can't fight this dude, here in the street with all the merchants around. If he is, in fact, even a fraction as strong as people say he is, that could end very, very badly. Plus, killing a hero, the hope of humanity, is not a good look for him. So instead, he's proposing to fight Masayuki in the tournament. If he wins the tournament, this not only ensures that if he does end up fighting Masayuki, he does it in a safe place, but also gives him a chance to actually observe Masayuki's strength and see what he's really capable of. Plus, being able to say, ladies and gentlemen, today's tournament has a surprise guest, the legendary hero, Masayuki! That's gonna be a big draw. That is gonna be a very, very big draw.
その提案を受けるべき。正幸様の名を一気に広める。
He's literally running away. He's trying to genuinely run away from this
にも
fight.
守るべき民草の前で正義を示すとしましょう。
そうだね。おいおい正幸くん、大丈夫なのかい？
いつも通り
Things will work out like they always do. I mean, I've said before, Masayuki is not arrogant, but he is confident. That's maybe not the right word, but even though he doesn't actually believe in his own strength at all, he has faith in his skill since, in the years since he came to this world, literally nothing bad has really happened to him. Yes, he ends up involved in all sorts of crazy situations, but he always comes out on top, even if he does absolutely nothing. So he figures, hey, I'll enter this tournament, and things will work out somehow, some
なん
way.
とかなると思います。
大丈夫。どこや
I'll keep a close eye on any attempts at poisoning or assassination. Yeah, because that would look great for Rimuru if the legendary hero was assassinated in his town during his founding festival. That would be an insane move to
に対
make.
しては、ま、なるようになるさ。 逆にさ
Seriously, Rimuru, it's the funniest thing about this is that Rimuru is a lot like Masayuki. Even though he himself is not all that confident, he believes in his skills and trusts that things will work out like they always do. In fact, it's actually a really interesting conversation. I forgot it was skipped. But when Rimuru was talking to Gazelle about how he beat Hinata, Rimuru was like, yeah, well, I'm not that strong. It's my skills that are strong, not me. And Gazelle's kind of confused by this. He's like, dude, your skills are part of you. They're part of your soul. Your skills are you. So Rimuru, Rimuru has that same confidence in Raphael and his other skills that, Masayuki has in his chosen one's skills. And things just always seem to work out for both of them. Huzzah!
我が国の武闘大会に勇者が参加してくれて箔がつい
like
た
I
と思う
said, being able to say, hey, the legendary hero is fighting in this tournament is going to get a lot more butts and seats. I think that's where we're ending things. Yep. Alright, next episode, the eve of the festival. Oh, I'm looking forward to that. Seriously, that's going to be, oh god. There's going to be a lot of faces there. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. Alright, anyway, love this episode. Sorry if I was a bit just out of it today. I've not been sleeping well for the last week or so. Anyway, though, we got to see this very long line of people coming to have a nice long chat with Rimuru and just beg for favors and introduce themselves and try to, earn his trust or whatever. Though I love that we focus on the people that, Rimuru actually has a good connection to. The King of Blumend, who literally looks like a cartoon character in this cartoon. His lovely wife, Gazelle, who lectured Rimuru, even though we kind of deserved it. Even though he was lecturing Rimuru about doing him a favor. Yeah, that's some weird logic right there. Yom, who is somehow a king, but still as rough and gruff as ever. Love that dude. And I love his kid, seriously. Edgar is so adorable. I mean, like, when Edmaris, left the throne and gave it to his brother saying, there's no way I could put my son in charge. He's only 10 years old. But this kid right here, he could have legitimately become king. He just feels that refined to me. I love that. Then we went over to Ingracia. Yuki, so excited for the festival. I mean, he really is a big kid inside. His not at all suspicious vice leader, Kagali. And the kids! Oh, I love these kids so much. They're so excited to be part of this festival, and they've grown so much. They actually take their teacher into consideration, and they invite her to the festival as well. I mean, that is such a nice touch right there. Like I said, she is anime only, so I wasn't expecting anything from her. I figured, like light novel, where he goes, he gets the kids, he brings them to the festival, huzzah! But actually being able to invite their teacher is such a cool moment here. God, I love that so much. It really does just go to show how much they've grown. They actually do care about the people around them. That's amazing. That's fantastic. I love it when an anime-only character actually adds to the story. And then they got these pendants, which have 100 gold coins, which, as I said, gives them a budget of $100,000 US. That has to be a typo. That absolutely has to be a typo. Holy mother of God above. That was insane. And we did things with good old Masayuki, the legendary hero, who very much does not want to fight. God, these poor elves, they are so confused. They've already had such a rough time, and now they're even more confused by all of this. I do hope next episode gives us a scene of them actually meeting their families, reuniting with them, all of that. That'd be great. Anyway, though, now it looks like Masayuki is entering the tournament and has to actually fight, despite, not actually being able to fight at all. Oh, that's gonna be fun, but please don't think about all this down below. What do you think of Masayuki? How do you think he's gonna fight in this tournament? What do you think of Rimuru giving these kids a budget of $100,000? Who's your favorite of, the royals that Rimuru met with? I really do love the King of Blumend. He's just such a cool guy. With a design that looks suspiciously like myself right now. Concerning. Anyway, though, let me think of all this down below. And until next time, peace!